Maharashtra, wherein in the MVA there is pressure on Uddhav Thackeray to leave the MVA. UBT faction leaders say ideological dilution could be leading to the drubbing in the elections. At a meeting with Uddhav, they've asked him to leave the MVA and reclaim the party's Hindutva plank. Thackeray, as well as other senior party leaders such as Aditya Thackeray and Rajya Sabha MP Sanjay Raut, are keen on maintaining the alliance to present a united opposition against the BJP. With that, let me cut across to our colleague Varghese Abraham, joining us from the newsroom to bring us more insights into this very story. Varghese, a very good morning to you. Very firstly, when we speak of the MVA's performance in the assembly elections, there are quite a few factors that have been spoken about, but there was a question about what will happen to Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray's faction of the Shiv Sena. And now we finally see questions being raised upon the same. Do you think there might come a change in the party's leadership within that very faction?
Well, it is going to be quite difficult right now whether to understand Uddhav will take that aspect of actually leaving the alliance and charting an independent course. Because one thing is for sure that the MLAs who have in fact recently won, the 20 odd of them from the faction, are not at all happy with how the things have been going on within the party. They've said that they have been completely overshadowed by the 57 MLAs of Eknath Shinde. Now, where does this actually become a problem? The problem is that what they see is that there is gradual replacing of Uddhav's political sphere by Eknath Shinde, representing the Shiv Sena, and his faction is now being sidelined, is what they say. And there is a lot of issues with it, as you were rightly pointing out. You're talking about how ideological dilution is something that has been put forward by most of the MLAs, saying that the very basis of the party was regionalism as well as Hindutva, Maharashtra regionalism, Marathi, respect. This was something that was in fact part of it, and because they had to go for an alliance with the NCP and the Congress, they have diluted several aspects of it. Also, the question of whenever there was a issue about Savarkar, especially when we talk about the Congress's attacks on Savarkar's legacy, the Shiv Sena has always said that they had admired it. So even the UBT had taken a quite kind of a nuanced stand on it. But then it was an ally that was attacking the issue about Savarkar's legacy. So that has also become one of the issues within the party, saying that there seems to be a complete kind of a mismatch. And that is how things are also going on the decline. Meanwhile, in the recent assembly polls, the interesting factor remains is that though in the Lok Sabha polls they were able to in fact have a vote share of at least 16.2%, it has declined by almost 3% to 13%, and that same kind of an increase is seen in the Shinde side, and therefore he's been able to take on with regards to the majority of the seats. So you have ideology as an issue, the kind of freedom fighting figures that you are looking into is also an issue. Then the question about your declining vote share within just a period of 6 months, that is something also that has been highlighted. What is the future course of action? Because there is a peculiarity with regards to Shiv Sena. The idea of Shiv Sena was not to look for power, but rather to fight for certain causes, and the power would in itself come to them. And that is how most of the leadership of the Shiv Sena has been looking into it. In fact, when they talk about Balasaheb Thackeray, he's been at the background of things. He's never been at the forefront of power. So in that case, they were looking at a structure like that where they can actually look to a leader who is in the background and who's able to in fact nurture at various positions this particular party and its vision. So that was the kind of model that they have been looking at. But this recent coming to power, being at the helm of it and then being defeated electorally, the erosion of the vote base is something that has been a highlight when it comes to it. So the MLAs have been in fact putting out their concerns regarding this to Uddhav Thackeray. But however, what we understand is that sources are saying that when it comes to Sanjay Raut or Uddhav Thackeray or even Aditya Thackeray, the idea is to have a united front against BJP, and therefore they are keeping the alliance together as of now. But of course, these electoral pressures are going to mount in the coming days because you are seeing a situation where Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena has been able to muster 57 seats, and which is much less than what the MVA 3 combined have been able to get. And also, it's not that the Shiv Sena is having a happy time with the allies themselves. The Congress has in fact raised up issues saying that the reason for defeat in many places is because the Sena took up seats where the Congress could have in fact had a fighting chance, and that is why they in fact lost, is what some of the Congress insiders have been putting in. So there is grumbling going within the party, and of course we know that there has been stark silence from the NCP front as well. Sharad Pawar has in fact taken a step backward and thinking about retirement and whether the party will decide on that, who will be the one who will be leading it. So these questions of uncertainty on leadership in the MV alliance is also there, and therefore the party cadres as well as Uddhav Thackeray and the MLAs are all looking at a possibility of going on an independent chartered course rather than
very true.